This might be the only time in history that buying somebody else's project car actually worked out. Most of the time when people ask me, hey David, should I buy this person's built motor Evo, or should I buy this already turboed Civic, or should I buy this supercharged whatever, 90% of the time I tell them, no, start fresh, start factory or near stock as possible. That way you know exactly what has happened to that car and its history when you are modifying it. This is the story of my buddy Zach's Corvette. The story begins with a lovely car couple I know named Zach and Savannah, and they had this CTSV that I reviewed. Doing the rollers in the CTSV, I have his fob. So he is currently driving his car without his fob. They ended up getting rid of the CTSV and went through a few other cars. But then they came across the deal of a lifetime. And when I say that this deal seemed way too good to be true, I mean it. When I heard about it, I actually thought it was a bad decision. Zach had found a C6 Z06, which is already a great car on its own, but it had an incredible assortment of parts. It had a motor that was blueprinted, balanced, and assembled by late model engines. It's a 447 cubic inch, 7.3 liter engine with 13:5:1 compression ratio. It's a solid roller motor that is dart and sleeved and gapped for a 300 shot of nitrous. And did I also mention that this engine revs to 8,000 RPM? And working back from the motor, it has an RPM level 5 transmission with a McLeod RXT 1200 twin disc clutch and a level 4 differential. And this is where Justin comes in of JMM Motorsports. Justin took upon himself to do this project almost entirely by himself with Zach. Watching Justin meticulously and tediously put this car together, meanwhile his kids are playing in the garage, is just a sight to be seen. Before we move on, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Keeps. Did you know that 2 out of 3 men experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? Yeah, it sneaks up on you pretty quick. And the best way to prevent further hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. And the best part is a licensed doctor can review your information online so you can get treated from home so they can come up with the best recommendation for your hair loss. And then after that, you'll get your medication delivered straight to your door every 3 months. And you can use the Keeps progress tracking tool and have access to your doctor 24/7. So if you have any questions or concern, you can hit them up at any time of the day. And Keeps offers generic versions of FDA approved hair loss treatment, so therefore it keeps it way more affordable. But the most important thing is to act fast because it takes 4 to 6 months to start seeing the result of Keeps. So the earlier you start, the better prevention and better result you're going to get. And Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. And you'll find out why hundreds of thousands of men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention. So if you are ready to take action against hair loss, make sure to head over to keeps.com/ThatDudeinBlue or click the link in the description below to receive your special offer on Keeps treatments. That's KEEPS.com/ThatDudeinBlue. Thanks so much, guys, and let's keep going.
Check it out.
First startup. Let's see what it wants to do.
Let me see your phone.
The first start was actually successful, and once they had that first start, it was time to head over to our buddies over at Vengeance Racing and do a dyno day. And dyno days typically take a very long time. Things go wrong, you have to go on a parts run, you need to run to Advanced Auto or get whatever. But this might have been the smoothest dyno day of all time. You excited?
Yeah, very excited. I'm ready to see this thing do some work on the dyno. It's been sitting for a while and a lot has been going through it to get it built, and I'm just very happy that it's finally here and see what it does.
How was the wiring?
It was a nightmare. So there was multiple starting issues. At first when we got it, the starter signal where it goes in, it was loose. I was hoping it was going to be good, and that ran into issues. So we had to take it off, replace the starter, and then it was still an intermittent issue. So as we were doing that with my scan tool, I monitor everything, and there was a U1000 code in the instrument cluster. So anytime I would clear that, it would sometimes start up. So then I was activating the starter relay, and then whenever I would activate it, it was working as well as I was monitoring my clutch switch.
Oh,
so all of a sudden, it started working. So I'm like, okay, well, as long as I clear this code, it would work, so I need to trace that down. So then it started to where it wouldn't start anymore. And I monitored it, and all of a sudden, the clutch switch is not working.
Oh my God.
So then I start looking at it, and I look at all the wiring, and it had nitrous installed, and all the wires were spliced into the clutch switch. So as I start wiggling them and I'm monitoring my scanner and I'm pressing the button, all of a sudden it starts activating. So I had to pull that wiring out, redo that wiring. I had to extend the wires because they were shortened, and now it's good. And it was a nightmare trying to get this thing to start up.
Good thing is, we're here at Vengeance Racing at the dyno, and been about, what, a month build?
About a month, a little bit less, on and off. I had to pull it off to a few other cars.
But honestly, like, I'm happy that we're not tuning something boosted, honestly, because that's when it's like a long day of like trying to figure out AFRs, trying to figure all that. When it's NA, it's like, does it work? Like, does it run? At the end of the very short dyno day, the car made 669 horsepower and 536 foot-pounds of torque. Now you need to remember that is one all motor, and that is without the nitrous. So when you add the nitrous, it's gonna be an absolute animal. And not to mention, this car will dead hook in first gear at 40 miles an hour. Zach then sent me a text and said, hey man, let's do a celebratory burnout. And that is exactly what we did.
It's Zach's first day on the job filming.
Yeah. Hello.
And that's his fiance.
I love it. Sounds great.
So, moral of the story, if you absolutely, positively know where your parts come from, even if it's somebody else's project car, even with the motor outside of the car, like it was in this instance, the research paid off. Car buying gets dangerous when you buy another project and it's already all assembled, because you don't know what pistons or rods or whatever are in there. But since everything was stripped down, we could confirm that all the parts that Zack had were actually what they said they were. At the end of the day, a near 700 wheel horsepower Corvette is not a bad day. What do you guys think about the all-motor Vette? Would you like to see a review of the car? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you like my videos, you want to support what I do, head over to PattersonCarCare.com. It is an all-original detail brand made right here in the US of A, especially our Brake Dust Pro, which makes cleaning wheels so easy. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.